Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gomuravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatari Shatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. So, आप सभी का स्वागत है, or in other words, we welcome everyone for today morning reading and discussion from Srila Prabhupada books. And the subject matter that we have been reading for a while is ISOPANISHAD. Ish Upanishad. We're going to begin our discussion from chapter verse number 7. This is what I've been informed. So that's what we're going to do it. Text 7. Yasmin sarvani bhutani Atmaiva bhut vijanataha Tatra ko mohaka shoka Ekatvam anupashyataha. Together, the whole verse. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva budvijanataha tatra ko mohakaha shoka ekatvam anupashyataha. Yasmin, and the situation. Sarvani, all. Bhutani, living entities. Atma, the spiritual spark. Eva, only. Abhut, becomes a fact. Vijanataha, one who knows. Tatra, therein. Kaha, what? Moha, illusion. Shokaha, anxiety. Ekatvam, of the same quality. Anupashyataha, one who sees through authority. Or one who sees constantly like that. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks in quality, one with the Lord. Ekatvam. So Prabhupada says, in quality, one, that is Ekatvam, becomes a true knower of things. Anupashyata, who sees like this. Yasmin sarvani bhutani, all living entities, atmai va abhut vijanataha, becomes a true knower of things, vijanataha. What is there as illusion or anxiety for him is the third line. Tatra ko moha kahashoka. Okay, let's take a look at just a little bit Sanskrit and translation in relation to the verse. The very first line, one who always sees all living entities. Yasmin sarvani bhutani. As spiritual sparks, atmaiv va abhut. In quality, one with the Lord. Ekatvam becomes a true knower of things. Vijanataha. What is there as illusion or anxiety for him? Tatra ko moha kaha shoka. Now, point is anupashyataha. Prabhupada have not covered the word anupashyata here. One who sees. So what is anupashyata here? Sees as spiritual sparks. That is anupashyata. Sees things as they are, or sees through authority, like that. Let's take a look at purport. So, okay, before getting to purport, just to break down the verse. So this verse, what we have been discussing is text number 6, and text number 7 is actually talking about the qualities of an advanced devotee. In other words, the previous verse said, Yastu sarvani bhutani atmani yavanu pashyati सर्व भूतेषु चा आत्मानाम ततोना विजुगुप्सते. वह किसी से द्वेष नहीं करता. किस स्थिति में द्वेष नहीं करता? जो व्यक्ति, a person who sees everything in relation to आत्मनि एवानुपश्यति, who sees everything in relationship with the Supreme Lord. सर्वभूतेषु चा आत्मानाम, sees all living entities as is cha atmanam, part and parcel. One who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything nor enemy. There's a very tricky verses. It might sound simple to you. Text number 6 and 7, it can have altogether different meaning. Very easy to have a Mayavadi indication of here, because the word Atmani and Cha Atmanam, it could be defined in terms of the self. So, all right. So that's what is being discussed here, the consciousness of an advanced or Uttamadhikari, you can call it, Tatona Vijagupsate. He does not hate or envy anyone. And here, Ekatvam Anupashyata. So second quality which is mentioned in 7th, Ekatva Anupashyata, he sees everyone same in quality with the Lord. That's one. Anupashyata. Anupashyata as he has been trained, like that. Purport now. Except for the two more advanced devotees described above, no one can correctly see the spiritual position of a living being. The living entities are qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord, as the sparks of the fire are qualitatively one with the nature of the fire. But sparks are not fire as well as quantity is concerned. The quantity of heat and light present in the fire is not equal to the quantity of heat and light in the sparks. The Mahabhagavata, the great devotee, sees oneness in the sense that everything is the energy of the Supreme Lord. And as there is no difference between the energy and the energetic, there is a sense of oneness. Without heat and light, there is no meaning of fire. Yet heat and light, from the analytical point of view, are different from fire. But in synthesis, heat, light, fire are all the same thing, same one thing. So ekatvam, the idea of where the Mayavadis take it for granted, which means becoming one with Brahman. There is no difference between we and Brahman. Ekatvam anupashyata. Who sees everything as the self? Self is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Ekatvam anupashyata. That's understanding is Mayavadis derived. But here, ekatvam, how acharyas are describing, how Prabhupada, ekatva means not in quantity but in quality. And Prabhupada gives an analogy to understand, just like heat, light, fire. If you see, in principle they are one, because there is no question of fire existing without heat and light, and heat and light simultaneously cannot exist without fire. But heat and light, Prabhupada says, there is no difference between the energy and energetic. There is a sense of oneness. That's the point Prabhupada is explaining. Heat and light is the energy of the fire, which is the energetic. So there is a oneness. So what is the oneness between energy and energetic? That is the quality, but not the quantity. An example is a fire and a fire spark. The spark is nothing but the energy of the fire, but it is same in quality, but not in quantity. If the spark is taken away from the fire, then the spark ceases to exist. That's the point here. That's a way of looking at it. Okay, so Prabhupada builds upon this and talks about further. The Sanskrit words found here, ekatvam anupashyataha, means to see the unity of the living entities from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. Anupashyataha. Anu means to follow. Pashyata is to see. Anu means as you have been taught. Now, taught, or the main source of knowledge is Shastras. So Anupashyata sees things through the eyes of scriptures. So that's the point what I was saying. Means to see the unity of the living entities, ekatvam, from the viewpoint of the revealed scriptures. Every individual spark of the Supreme Whole has almost 80% of the known qualities of the whole, but they are not as good as the Supreme Lord. These qualities are present in minute quantity, as the living entity is but a minute part and parcel of the Supreme Whole. This is like the drop of water and ocean. So now Prabhupada is talking about our relationship in terms of quantity. So maximum 80%, not beyond that, 80%. The quantity of salt present in the drop is never comparable to the quantity of salt present in the complete ocean. But the quality of the salt present in the drop is equal in quality and chemical composition with that present in the ocean, like this. All right, so far? So, quantity and quality, ekatvam. Our discussion is going to build up, so then we'll take a look at it. So right now, Prabhupada is giving a little foundation here. Oneness in, ekatvam, which means the different ways of looking at it. One is quality. And what is another meaning of oneness is? Oneness of purpose. Any example from Bhagavad Gita where Krishna speaks on the principle of ekatvam? The principle of ekatvam. Don't think of the word ekatvam. The principle of ekatvam being discussed in Bhagavad Gita. Anshul Prabhu's hand is up. Hi, Anshul Prabhu. हाँ, बोलो. Reading. अच्छा, reading. पहले से ready तो हाँ. Okay. Who Pranjal? Yes, go ahead. Yeah, nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Become one with my interest. That is ekatvam. Very important, very important. Nimitta matram, I guess yesterday afternoon we were discussing about it also. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. So I wanted to start thinking in that context now. Okay? Let's take a look ahead. If the individual living being were equal both in quality and in quantity, then there would be no question of the living entities being submerged by the influence of mental energy. So, Prabhupada is raising a question. If somebody says, नहीं, ये आप गलत कह रहे हैं, आप अपने मन के अनुसार कह रहे हैं कि हम भगवान से विभिन्न हैं, परंतु इस श्लोक के अनुसार कहा गया एकत्वम, which means in a very simple language, ekatvam means same, one. So with a very simple understanding, without going to the depth of this verse or the subject matter, ekatvam means we are one. So one in what sense? We are Atma, the Lord is Atma, Atma means Brahman, so I am Brahman, Lord is Brahman, everyone is Brahman, therefore it is said, what is that? Brahman Jagan Mithya. Kya hai wo? Brahma Sakyam Jagat Mithya. That's the point they come from that. So, which means we and the Lord are same. Everything is Brahman only. There is nothing beyond that, like that. So, Prabhupada is saying, if you think that is the case, now the third paragraph starts. If the individual living beings were equal both in quality and quantity, then there would be no question of the living entity being submerged by the influence of vital energy. So, Prabhupada is saying, if you think you are the Supreme Lord, you're one with the Supreme Lord, then how come you, the Brahman, became contaminated by the material energy? Which means if you can get contaminated by material energy, which means material energy is more powerful than you. And if material energy is more powerful than you, then who is the Supreme Lord? Material energy. First thing. Question is, where does the material energy comes from then? That's another question. Where does this Maya comes from? Is Maya also Brahman? I mean, if Maya is also Brahman, then what are you doing here? We have a factual experience of life. Yes, this world is temporary, but it is not imaginary. There's a difference in understanding. So for Mayavadis, this is imagination. It doesn't exist. Therefore, Brahmanand Prabhu in that lecture, when he was speaking to Mayavadis, he made a point. Well, for you, everything same, everything is same. So when you eat halwa and next day you pass stool, you look at the stool also with the same eyes, you see the halwa. Eat that. So why are you seeing the difference? Because if there's a principle of oneness, you should not discriminate now, right? There should not be difference. And you say everything is false, everything is false, halwa is false, halwa is false, stool is also false, and your principle, foundation principle, everything is one. So halwa is one with a stool. Eat stool now. Bola? Nahi, hum wo nahi kar sakte. So that's the point that's been going on here. Okay? It has already been discussed in previous mantra that no living being, even the powerful demigods, can surpass the supreme being in any respect. But mobile that has to quickly go through the verses. So it has been already established that no being, even the powerful demigods, can surpass the supreme being in any respect. Therefore, ekatvam does not mean that a living being is full in all respects, is equal in all respects with the Supreme Lord. So, ekatvam का मतलब ये नहीं है कि भगवान के समान है. No. So then what does it mean? If we are not equal to the Lord, ekatvam means same, one, same, that's the meaning. So, Lord is Lord, we are living entities, we are insignificant, Lord is extremely powerful, etc., has been said across the Upanishads, across the Puranas. Now question is being raised. Of course, I have given the answer. It's a different thing. But the question is raised. If we are not same in quantity with the Lord, then what is that same? You're getting the flow of the discussion. What is that? Equality. It means in a broader sense, very important, that there is one interest. Nimitta matram bhava savyasachi. Just as in a family, the interest of all the members is one. Therefore, one philosopher said, if nobody cares for who gets the credit, great things can be done together. If nobody cares who gets the credit, then great things can be done together. It's a big disease. It's a big disease, of seeking and trying to get the credit. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, when he founded this society, he said, everywhere, wherever there is a name ISKCON written, underneath there should always be written, Founder Acharya is Divine Grace, AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila. भाई तुम अंधेरे में काहे बैठे? जगह नहीं है यहाँ पर. बाहर आगे बैठे यहाँ पर. सब अपनी दुनिया में लगे हुए. फ्रंट सीट में तुम्हारे लिए. चलो इधर. What was I saying? Founder Acharya. Why Srila Prabhupada had to do that? What's the need for it? Founder Acharya. I mean, पता नहीं ISKCON Prabhupada ने बनाया. So why write everywhere? Founder Acharya is Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, because there is always this tendency, Mayavadi tendency within a living entity where he wants to take a credit. And therefore, you see, I was making a point today morning also. Somebody was asking a question. Last night it happened, and this has been happening for a while now. Last night also one congregation said, Prabhuji, I'm chanting Palana Dikana mantra. Mantra is mantra, all respects to the mantra. From Vrindavan, I received this. So I wanted to check, is it right or not? All of you chant Hare Krishna, but we chant same mantra but differently, and etc. So I said, when did you start chanting this? She said, Prabhuji, during COVID or post-COVID. I said, what, this mantra didn't exist before COVID? She said, must have existed. So why didn't you chant? She said, I was not aware of it. So I said, what happened during COVID? She said, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you what happened. During COVID, everyone sat down at the home and social media explosion happened. Everyone became famous. And whoever had the capacity and karma of becoming famous, they became famous. Because somebody had become famous on social media, it does not necessarily means because that guru was non-existent before COVID, or he was not influential. To say today in Vrindavan there is a great sadhu, great personality, well, that great personality was there in Vrindavan before also. So don't say he's there today. He had been there for the last so many decades. So he had been great before also. But today you have got to know because there is a public following. And our other weakness is whatever public says, we follow. So many people listen to it and all that. Second thing I said, as I see, the point, I just kept my head about. So that's the first thing I said, the person has become famous. Second thing I said, uh, it's not that there is in Vrindavan is uh, filled with many great sages. Brajamandal is a big area, it has tremendous great Siddha Purush sitting there. You might have got to know of one, but there are many. But the reason you got to know of one because somebody is making a dedicated effort to promote that one person. And I told them example of just a video came yesterday, and the title of video was देखिए हमारे गुरुवर राधा का नाम सुनते ही आंखों से आंसू बहने लगे. मैंने कहा ये बिल्कुल कभी बात करी नहीं जाती इस विषय पे. It's a private affair. If you are chanting the names of the Lord, you're looking at the deities of the Lord, and if you have in ecstasy, in out of love, your eyes have become filled with tears, you don't go and make a public disclosure about it. It is totally avoided. It is never to be done. Our acharyas have strictly said that never do that. If you do that, you're faking. I said that great personality is in his mood of relationship with the Lord, and his followers are capturing that moment and putting a video out. With what intention? I mean, if they not read scriptures, everything Vrindavan that what we know today has been established by the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whoever today is for whatever parampara, who is there in Vrindavan, everything has been done by the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all those great sages who are there, who have not read the writings of acharyas, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami prominently, and Rupa Goswami, who have not read that. So they know, acharyas knows, but the followers, they are bent on promoting. If somebody is bent on promoting someone, and these things are completely prohibited. Never show off your ecstasies. And you have it a public video where somebody is capturing the ecstasy and saying that, I mean, इसका मतलब केवल वही रोते हैं, बाकी भक्त नहीं रोते क्या? राधा का नाम सुन के, कृष्ण का नाम को सुन के किसी की आंखों में आंसू आ जाना, is it a unique prerogative or a right of only one sadhu? There's so many sadhus like this. But to make a public announcement like this really makes it. Now what will happen? There are cheap sentimentalists. They'll say, oh, कितने महान है, उनको आंसू आता है, हम इन्हीं के पीछे जाएंगे. That's so somebody is making an attempt to promote somebody. So from where did I came to where I went? What was the point I was trying to make here? Credit. That's the point here. Ekatvam, that there is one interest. So one who does not take care for who gets the credit, great things can be done. So I was making a point, we all have this Mayavadi tendency of getting a credit. Even in the spiritual circle, it leads to a conflict. And when it leads to a conflict arising because of I want a credit, then we go out of the flow of the interest of the Lord. Because when we want the credit, that priority comes in our mind, then we do not align with the interest of the Lord. Because that time we are not thinking about what is the interest of the Lord. What is the interest that time? My name. Interest at that point of time is my name. So to say ekatvam, to be aligned with the Lord, to understand the interest of the Lord. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, your love for me would be shown how you cooperate. And trust me, it might sound very easy. It ain't easy. It's extremely difficult. As we progress, particularly in managerial roles and responsibilities, it becomes more and more and more difficult. It's not easy. Just like Srila Prabhupada was asked, Swamiji, what is your credit? And Prabhupada said, my credit is only one thing. I have presented the teachings of our acharyas as it is, which means I have copied and pasted. Is that a credit? What do you say? Is that a credit? Yes or no? Yes. Acha, how? Copy paste में क्या credit है? Copy paste करोगे आज के समाज में तो क्या कहते हैं उसको? What is the technical term? Plagiarism. Infringement. Plagiarism, right? So कोई credit मिलता है? You're banned, isn't it? So now you prove how it is a credit.
Because it's difficult to keep our preconceived notions or our mentality aside and.
So to keep our preconceived ideas, okay. What else? How is it a credit? Anyone else online would like to say? When Prabhupada said, my only credit is that I have presented the teachings as it is, copied and pasted. How is it a credit? In
It is
today's
not
world, it is not
easy.
accepted.
It is not easy to do. Just present it as it is.
What is not easy to do in that? It's so easy in computer. Copy and paste. Maybe that time computer was not present, so maybe a little difficult. But what is difficult?
Present the principles as they are.
What is the difficulty?
It is difficult to give them as they are.
I mean, but I still don't understand what is. I mean, if it is in Sanskrit, just translate in English. If it is English, just translate in Hindi. What is the difficulty? If you don't understand the language, that is your problem. But what is the difficulty in the presenting it? What is the difficulty? Yes, Vittal Bro.
Like thinking that thinking ourselves as greater means more intelligent than our predecessors, and
Yeah, that's the difficulty. To say that, tell me, this is a human weakness. We always want to reinvent the wheel, isn't it? We always want to reinvent. My credit is, I must have added something, na? My thinking should be there, and people should acknowledge, ये मेरे द्वारा करा हुआ है. If I say I've just copied pasted, तो लोग बोलेंगे तूने क्या किया है? सब तो उसने करा ना जिसने लिखा है. What have you done? So this insecurity that I have not added anything. My credit lies in when I reinvent the wheel, when I put my thoughts into it, because I want to say that how intelligent I am to the world, that I have done something. That is the difficulty. That is the difficulty. So when Prabhupada said, my credit is I have presented as it is, that is extremely difficult. And it can only be done by that individual who is in one and in trust with the Guru Parampara and the Lord. You getting it? Who is in one in interest. And the interest is when nobody cares who gets the credit. When nobody cares who gets the credit. Because the interest and the desire of the Lord has to be fulfilled. And the interest and desire for Srila Prabhupada to be fulfilled was given by his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That was the goal. The goal was not using that instruction for one's name, fame, and recognition. It's not easy. How many of you see that it's not easy now? It's extremely difficult, extremely difficult. Maybe at our stage, at the beginning stages, we might see, oh, what is it? Hum to keval aise hi. So no. Therefore, as a part of our training, it's very important, even what we speak, it should be cultivated right from the beginning stages. Where is the reference? What are you speaking? Where is the reference? Where it is mentioned like this? No, Prabhu, this is my realization. Ye aisa tha, vaisa tha. Therefore, it is strictly said, when it comes to the pastimes of the Lord, just speak as it is. Because you cannot add your realization because it is beyond your realization. If it is logic, you can add some understanding. But for the pastimes of the Lord, there is no concept of comprehension of it. You have to speak as it is. So extremely difficult. So in other words, the point I'm trying to make here on the principle of ekatvam, as Prabhupada, it means in broader sense that there is one interest. Just as in a family, the interest of all the members is one. In a nation, all the different individual citizens are there. The national interest is one. Therefore, the living entity being part and parcel of the same supreme family, the interest of the supreme being, and there are the parts and parcel is not different. Every living being is the son of the supreme being, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita. All the living creatures, including birds, reptiles, animals, aquatic trees, and so on, all of the universe, all emanations from the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord, and therefore all of them belong to the same family of the Supreme Being. There is no clash of interest in spiritual life. I want to build and a little bit explore this word ekatvam, extremely important. So once again, I'll reiterate, ekatvam means becoming one in interest with the Lord. What are the challenges in that? Let's have a discussion, open discussion on that. What are the challenges in becoming or having the same interest of the Lord? And I gave an example of Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is your credit? Prabhupada said, my credit is, I have presented as it is, which means I have copied and pasted. And I raised a question, is it worth giving credit? Yes or no? Copying pasted in today's world is not accepted anyways as a credit. They always say, you should have done something on your own. You should have done something. So we have been trained in an environment and a culture where this mentality is very deep rooted within us. I have to necessarily add on something. Otherwise, I will not be accepted in the society. But that's not the very Vaishnava heritage and tradition and the culture. There is no question of addition. Vaishnava heritage and tradition is speak as it is. Do you know how long you have to travel now? We have been trained entirely opposite. We don't speak as it is because that will become plagiarism. We add and we create our own things and we build up onto it. But no, our traditional culture is you don't do anything. You just speak as it is, and that's a credit. But you may say, where is the credit? People will not accept me. People will say, what have you done? You're repeating what was said by your guru. You're repeating what was said by previous acharya. What is your credit? So then what would you answer? What is your credit? What would you answer? Because that's a fear. That's a fear, isn't it? अरे मेरे अस्तित्व का क्या, मेरी पोजीशन का क्या, मैं भी दिखाना चाहता हूं मेरी भी कोई स्थिति है. I want to establish my position. There's a constant battle which goes on in a conditioned mind. We all have it, trust me. It's not because you started to chant Hare Krishna, it's going to go away. It doesn't go away. Therefore, I said the more you rise in the managerial position, even the spiritual organization, the conflict remains unless you have really crossed certain level of realization and understanding. Then it ceases. Then it ceases. Which means largely whatever we are doing only for our interest. Krishna's interest is right now not there only. Because again and again, the demon of my credit haunts us again and again. So, how would you answer the question? Yes.
I have an example. So suppose there is librarian and he is not keeping the book intact.
But how would you people here understand your example? Okay. Where is Anshul Mahashay? My mobile don't go. Okay, devotees can hear your example. Is my question clear to all of you? Before you speak, Ravi, reiterate my question once. Go ahead. Follow.
Hare Krishna. Audible?
Is it audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so a project question that if we are giving the knowledge as it is, we are not adultering it. So what's actually our credit?
Yes.
So what we have.
That's the thing, right? What's my credit? So, I mean, example is okay, but give me one line answer. What's your credit? What's your credit? Anyone online? What's your credit? And we all want some credit, isn't it? That's what gives us momentum. What's your credit? For the pleasure of? For the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. You're in the right direction, paraphrase it properly. Your credit is Guru and Gauranga is pleased from you. Your credit is Guru and Gauranga. So question is, whom do you want to serve? Or whom do you want to please? Precisely please, because service is not necessarily pleasing. We discussed that already, right? Service does not necessarily mean pleasing. Pleasing means service automatically. So whom do you want to please? You want to please your false ego? Or you want to please Guru and Gauranga? It's not easy. It's not easy. It requires really deep introspection, self-analysis, realigning ourselves back on the track, Even if you're walking in the right direction, if you get one bad association, you'll be thrown off the track. One bad association is thrown off the track. When you see, oh, he's trying to take credit. What am I doing? What is about me? And you're living in the masses of fools, people will also not recognize you. People recognize those are self-made. You ever seen? Self-made gurus, self-made people become very famous. We're living in that society. So we think, Hare, what is about me? So if you are running after Pujala Pratishtha, which we all are, without a doubt, but if that becomes the priority of your life, then to align with the interest of the Guru and Gauranga becomes very challenging. At our state, what we can do, we can prioritize. We cannot give it up because that's a factor which will gradually go away. But we can prioritize. What do I do to prioritize? The pleasure of Guru and Gauranga or pleasure of my own name, fame, recognition. Like that. So that's where it becomes challenging. Ekatvam. Any other instances of how Ekatvam, aligning with Guru and Gauranga becomes difficult. And that's the whole challenge of Mayavadis. Therefore, Mayavadis said they're the envious people because they just cannot accept the fact that there is somebody greater than I. They cannot accept that somebody is greater than I. How can you say somebody is greater? No. Even if somebody is greater, I am that greatest. I'm that supreme. There cannot be any. So that's where this whole envy gets manifested, and they wear this nice saffron attire and all kind of things they do, and they would walk among people as sadhus, but they're actually the most envious people. You know, how can the son be same as father? Does it make sense? So ask that sadhu, are you the father or the son? Or what are you? So because you have grown up now, have you become same as your father? So what logic is there to say everything is one? I mean, how insulting would it be to a father for the son to come and say, I am same as father? Father बोलेंगे मेरे मरने से पहले ही सब हड़पने की सोच रहे हैं. हाँ है ना? To say I am same as a father, which means now I can sign on the checkbook because I am same as the father means whatever belongs to father is mine. The father always says, you rascal, I'm still alive and you want to usurp my property while I'm alive. Who told you like this? That's any other thoughts on this principle ekatvam? The challenges. So this puja la pratishtha makes it extremely challenging to align ourselves with the interest of Guru and Guranga. So the greatest credit of Srila Prabhupada, therefore, Srila Prabhupada giving that answer only saying that my credit is that I have represented things as it is, shows you the substance and character of Srila Prabhupada. You know, he had no desire at all of puja la pratishtha. No desire. He was very clear, this is my service to the Lord, and I'm going to present as it is, all the credit goes. Therefore, right at the beginning of the book, for example, Bhagavad Gita, he gives credit to Baldev Vidyabhushan. He gives credit to Baldev Vidyabhushan. Say, I was a researcher. I wrote many papers. In which paper did I ever give credit to any scientist? You would, at the end, where you have bibliography or the references, there you say that these points we have referred. And that is also, we are forced to do that. If while writing a research paper, if you do not quote references, your research paper is not accepted only. You have to quote from where you have got those ideas. So at the end, you have to forcefully say, okay, this reference, that reference. But you never say, so Hare Krishna ji, not Hare Krishna ji. So dear friends or fellows, whatever you write abstract. So I want to give a credit to his fellow scientist or researcher who did very wonderful work. And I have taken this idea from this fellow and I am now explaining. No, it never happens. Oh, sub footnotes hote hain end mein. So that's the thing. Any other thoughts on this thing? Anyone who shares something on the subject matter, ekatvam, the crisis, the challenges, how it is difficult. Becoming one with the Lord. Nimitta matram bhavasa visachin. Follow. What is that? Nimitta matram bhavasa. Become an instrument of my grace. Any challenges, becoming the instrument of Krishna's grace? Any challenges? What do you think is easy? What are your thoughts on it? I'm going to say easy. Krishna ने बोला नहीं होना करके दिखा देता. भगवान बोल के तो दिखाए. देखो निमित्त मात्रम भवस्य विसाचिन. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the desire of the Lord or the desire of the devotee or the pure devotee of the Lord or the desire of the Guru is the desire of the Lord. So which means nimittam bhavasachin means to become the instrument of the grace at the hands of Guru and Gauranga, like that. Do you see any challenges or is it easy to do? हरे कृष्ण. प्रातःकालीन का समय है. बताया गया है सत्वगुण का वातावरण होता है, बुद्धि तीव्र होती है, सोचने का मौका दिया जा सकता है. तो मैं हो सकता है आप लोगों को ज्यादा परेशान ना कर रहा हूँ क्वेश्चन उठा कर. Yes, Prashant, we'll pass on the mic. Where is that mic we have? Hare Krishna, if anyone would be speaking online, I will not be able to hear because I've kept my speaker off. So you'll have to raise your hand something, then I'll have to enable my speaker. I will not be able to. Yes.
One's independent nature or tendency.
Independent nature, that is difficult. That makes it difficult. Okay, very nice. What else? Yes, Anshu Prabhu.
When someone glorifies you, that you are the most, you are the one from whom I am getting this knowledge. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Like that. So in that sense, we sometimes deviate from the path.
So when we are glorified, we get intoxicated. So very good. How should one receive glorification? How should one receive glorification? Let's answer that. How should one receive glorification? What's the principle of receiving glorification? You're so great. You made my day. What a profound kirtan of the class you gave, Prabhu. And Prabhu, माता आके आपके चरण कमलों को छू रहे हैं और उसकी डस्ट को अपने माथे पे लगा के कह रहे हैं हमारा जीवन धन्य हो गया है. आपकी धूली को अपने माथे पे लगा के तुम सोच रहे हो मेरे जीवन का पता नहीं तुम्हारा कैसे धन्य हो गया. मैं तो स्ट्रगल मार रहा हूँ. और आप कह रहे हो मेरा जीवन धन्य हो गया, पर आप कह रहे हो तो सच्चे ही होगा, आप झूठ क्यों बोलोगे? तो सत्य बात है, मेरे चरण कमल इतने पावरफुल हो गए आजकल। Okay, Varunpu, wait. I need to enable my speaker. Yes, Varunpu, what's your take?
Yes, Hare Krishna. So yes, we should pass on the glories to our guru and our gurus, that we got all this knowledge from them, and there is nothing we have added. This is just we are nimit matra of whatever we have got from them.
I would not fully agree to this. I mean, principally you're right, but when you say नहीं मेरा कुछ नहीं है, सब गुरु से मिला है, वो भी सही नहीं, because actually you're not giving credit. The credit should be who is that guru? हैं? अबे जो भी है, क्या बोलता तू भी? Sorry, I got distracted from a comment here. कहने का तात्पर्य मेरा ये है, so unless you really specify, therefore when we speak class and there is a wonderful point we have shared and it has been referred to somebody, we should say, Prabhu, I heard it from such and such speaker or such a devotee. Of course, maybe the forum may not know the devotee, so you need not have to say the name each time like that. But if it is a forum where they know the devotee, then you say, okay, Prabhu, this is not mine, I heard it from there. And it's not easy. You feel like, अरे मैंने बोल दिया कि ये पॉइंट उसका है, ये पॉइंट उसका है, उसका है, तो लोग पूछें तेरा क्या? What is your point? Our point is this only. And what is that point? I repeat. And that takes a little maturity to understand that in a genuine community of Vaishnava, then you will be really accepted. So Guru, okay. Yes, Madam Vedavni, can I add something?
Yeah, Prabhu, the same point. I think if we are grateful for what we've received from our Guru, then it is natural that it comes out. So there is no need for an external endeavor for it. But to become grateful is what we need to endeavor on.
To become very wonderful, very wonderful. If you're grateful, you would naturally say, wonderful way to put it. But where we have to put endeavor is to become and to remain grateful. In the beginning stages, to become grateful is very easy, isn't it? कितना सब कुछ मुझे मिला है, भक्त कितने अच्छे हैं. And then to remain grateful becomes so challenging. The same association which gave everything, we begin to find faults. How many of you agree? Yes. So we have to struggle to remain grateful. Therefore, we should always remember our past, what I was, what I am today, what I became. All right. Ekatvam. Any other challenges? The challenges the jiva may face aligning with the principles of oneness with the Lord in terms of interest. Nimitta matram bhavasavesachi. Following, becoming the grace, instrument of grace. Yes, Mother Roshni, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I don't have any answer, but I wanted to ask a question. See, now, abhi spiritual life mein to we have to be grateful to our Guru Varanga, and we need to be grateful anyways. Whereas IT sector mein when we are working, so यहाँ पे people are behind taking credit. यहाँ पे we so we have to be in that race, for whatever जो भी हम काम कर रहे हैं. How do we deal with this duality, Prabhuji?
Correct. It's a big challenge, actually. Yeah. So therefore, that famous verse which is there in the Bhagavad Gita, what is that? वो रात दिन वाला जो श्लोक है. या निशा सर्वभूतानां. That's a beautiful verse, actually. So what is night for a sadhaka is a day for a non-devotee, like that. So see, this verse, Ya Nisha Sarvabhutani, has another perspective of it in relation to your question here. So when we are in the circle of devotees, we need to be what we are. We need to cultivate, we need to revive these qualities within ourselves. But when we are in the outside world, which is like a wild forest filled with ferocious animals, there when you see in a jungle a lion, you don't offer obeisance. You're seeing them, oh, Vidya Vinaya Sampane, Brahmani ka Vijasini, so ye sher bhi mera guru hi hai. Pranam Gurudev. The sher will eat you. So we have to have this picture very clear. This is devotees Sangha. This is my house. This is my family. Therefore, I always say, my family is my community. My community is my family. I always say this. Have that. Please understand this is my family. And when you go in the outside world, please have that understanding. This is a wild forest. People are there to eat you. They're like jackals. They're there to exploit you. So you have to be alert. You have to be careful. I'm not saying become a hunter. You start hunting animals now. Don't become like that. Be alert. Be conscious of it so that you can protect your self-interest. Otherwise, it can become very challenging. And because if you get exploited there, then because दूध का जला छाछ भी फूक फूक के पीता है, then you will become here in the devotee community. You will be like, nay, I should be very, very. So then your innocence goes away. We become very political in devotee circle then, because outside world is highly politically surcharged. So when you become in the devotee community, become very. And by default, everyone is politically surcharged today, even in the devotee community, because they have been exploited once or twice or sometime in the past. So it requires really a very potent culture and environment of love and affection, where a person over a period of time should get the sense, hey, there is nobody to harm me here. Why am I playing out tricks? This is my family. So every leader should strive, inspiring, encouraging others to chant is, I would say, comparatively easier. Making them follow 4x to some extent is okay. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's challenging in itself. It's okay. But the greatest challenge is to make them feel this is my family. Unless the devotee feels that this is my family, he will not be able to give his political, that mindset, because he's always fearful. Na jane kaun mere se ek sang kya kar lega. Oh, these devotees also have reasons to exploit me. Therefore, they're talking like this. And if you're living in that constant insecurity, you can never grow. You can never grow. You can never feel Krishna, because what is that? Oh, Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Idase Karuna Kori. How will you take shelter of Vaishnava when you have that fear within you? So that's the struggle the neophyte faces a lot. And it depends both on the leadership and the community mood, and as well as on the sadhaka. It's a joint effort, for all of them to work together to really make a progress. Otherwise people really cannot give that mindset. So at least, if not, I often say that we should at least have one strong senior relationship. Unless you have reached to the Madhyama Adhikari stage, your shelter is a senior association, where you are able to open your heart, share your heart, and receive feedback. If there is no relationship like that, then a Kanishta has no hope actually. He will continue to struggle, make offenses, make aparadha, and then walk away. And when one has grown up in this association and this principle to the stage of Madhyama, then peer association becomes very potent, but not at Kanishta stage. However, unfortunately, at Kanishta stage only thinks peer association all in all, because that's what the outside world is. So this, you have to be very careful of these things. How do we make a progress? You're understanding? We're living in the wild forest, and now we have got a shelter. But point is, the people look the same. So how do you put a faith that people within the shelter are also going to give me shelter here? So it's a big thing. Transition has to happen. All right, mother. So this problem can be resolved, which is a problem for everyone, can be resolved if at least we have one good, trustworthy, and healthy relationship with a senior again. Because then when this challenges arises, then when you discuss, and if he gives you some answer, you're willing to wholeheartedly accept it. Maybe I need to make some changes among myself. Otherwise, if we continue to look at it with your own mindset, you'll never be able to resolve it. It'll never be fixed. Okay, so it is almost 8:40. We're having an extended ISOPANISHAD class here. Ekatvam. I really wish to speak, elaborate this, because this is an extremely important thing. This is where all of our struggles and challenges lies. We'll continue this discussion. Mother Madhavni has something to add. Please go ahead, Mother. And if anyone else have any other comments, we can take it quickly.
Hare
Or any
Krishna,
other questions? Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have a query here.
Yes.
So when we listen to many of our senior devotees, I've heard from certain classes that one senior devotee says that even amongst devotees, when you enter into a kind of a transaction, maybe a purchase or a sale of whatever,
Correct. Correct.
to have a legal document in place, whether or not
Absolutely.
you do. That's one. Second, I've heard, I think it's known as Radhanath Swami Maharaj, whoever, a very, very senior devotee. I'm not able to recollect whom I heard it from, but this person was saying that it may be your nature to exploit, but it is my nature to not exploit. That's a very, very high stage, right? I'm just talking about what as a sadhaka we need to endeavor to achieve. Yeah. So in one case, we are saying that even within devotees, you have a legal document so that you stay protected and you don't think that even the devotees can cheat. That's one. This is all on a, to have a long-term faith and continue this process for the lifetime, right? I'm just asking you. Second thought process is, whatever be your nature may be to exploit, but my nature is to forgive, to forget, and still be in the association of devotees. The third stage is what you mentioned just now. According to time, place, and circumstance, we protect ourselves so that we don't feel, because of the vulnerability of one episode, we don't leave the association of devotees. So according to time, place, and circumstances, we use our intelligence and accordingly we do. So the three different viewpoints from three different senior devotees. What is the application that a sadhaka needs to take from this? Thank you.
I don't see any distinction or difference in any of the three viewpoints. For example, it's just a common sense. You don't entrust, let's say, young kids in the hands of any new devotee because he's a sadhaka. He still have a lot of vikarma tendencies. We had been discussing about foundation. It's not that the foundation of vikarma has gone away. It takes a while. Externally, it might have stopped. You're not engaging externally in the breaking four regulative. Has your mind stopped it? So this is childishness. This is foolishness for somebody to think, oh, sab shuddh bhakt hai. This is a sign of foolishness. So therefore, we have to take precautions. If you don't take precautions, then you cry. That's the first take. So therefore, we should have legal agreement if we are having financial transactions, or we should have the sanity check. Second point is made is, if in case something has happened wrong, a devotee should become mature enough to forgive. Should not blame the whole devotee community for that, because there is no one to blame actually. Go back to the first canto, the pastime of the bull and the cow. That's what bull says. So that's the second thing. And what was the third thing was not, I can't remember, but you got the point. So in a sense, we have to have a good sense, use our good sense, and do not blindly trust anyone. There's no reason to blindly trust anyone. You have to always have precautions in your place. And when you're dealing with bhaktas, as I said, one relationship where you want to put your faith is senior association, where you want to have, again, with a good sense, you want to build, relationship. With all of the devotees, we have to have some sanity check and work accordingly, like that. And we work as if we are family, but we are conscious also that everyone has come with his own baggage of, his past activities and inclinations. So we don't know how somebody is going to behave. If that would not be the case, then why in our culture, there are dress code for Prabhus and Matajis? Every Mataji can dress in any way because all Prabhus have become Goswamis. And all Goswami Prabhus can move around in Langot because all Matajis are beyond the bodily concept. Hai na? It doesn't happen, na? So there's a good sense has to be used. Okay? So Ekatvam. We'll continue on this principle of Ekatvam tomorrow. Yes, Mother.
Prabhu, when you're saying have faith in one senior, that has to be a senior who's able to give you time, right? Otherwise, very clearly, whatever you may have, you may have enough and more faith.
That is not the meaning of faith. Faith does not mean, so to have faith in Krishna means Krishna has to come and sit down with you?
No. Prabhu, see, when you're saying we need to seek guidance from one mentor who is going to...
I'm not saying one mentor. I never put that word. I never said that. Anyways, this is going out of the context of Ekatvam principle.
No, Prabhu, guidance, when you're saying, like when I'm confused.
I said senior, there should be at least one senior. I said at least.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
we don't really have capacity, because we are, by default, we are Mayavadis. So we don't know how to build relationship because we are selfish at the heart. Therefore, I used the word at least one relationship. You know, if we can't have multiple relationships, at least have one relationship. That itself is extremely challenging. That's a point to understand. Because of my deficiency of being very selfish at the core of the heart. So at least have one relationship. Which relationship? Senior relationship, wherein you have to bow down. You have to bow down, not that you demand from the senior. Because when you begin to demand, again, you're trying to fulfill your selfish interest. Now, in relationship with Kardamana and Devahuti, what did Devahuti demanded? How much time Kardamamuni gave to Devahuti? So this whole thing now, I need this, it has to be this way. This is all arising from your selfish heart. That relationship where you want to invest is, you want to invest. And what invest is? How can I serve you? Not that, how can you serve me? That is the relationship you have to build. And a selfish heart cannot understand that. Therefore, I said, have at least one relationship where you can say, Prabhu, how can I serve you? So this question, ki hame time nahi mil raha, ye nahi mil raha. No, that is not correct. That is not at all correct. क्यों नहीं टाइम मिलेगा? सारा टाइम मिलेगा. कृष्ण अर्जुन को समय दे सकते हैं, भगवान समय दे सकते हैं, you know, तो भक्त समय नहीं देंगे. But are we ready for it? कृष्ण ने दुर्योधन को समय नहीं दिया. He gave time to Arjun. So have to understand how are we dealing, because we are so much accustomed to asking now. We keep asking only. हमें ये नहीं, हमें ये नहीं. So that is not, you're not in the right position only. और हमें नहीं मिला, you're like a crying baby. हमें नहीं मिला तो बस हम छोड़ देंगे, हम गुस्सा हो जाएंगे. That is not how you deal with a guru or senior. The relationship where you want to build is, how can I serve? Not the demand, how can you serve me? आप मुझे समय नहीं देते, ये नहीं देते, आप मेरा लेटर का रिप्लाई नहीं करते. Relationship is never built like that. So this is the first thing we have to understand.
Isn't Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentions, right? Our greatest self-interest lies in what can help us progress in Krishna consciousness. So it is in our own self-interest that we are doing it, isn't it? Ultimately, we have to become selfless and all that. But isn't it our own self-interest that what we think we want our guru or whoever?
I just described what should be our self-interest. You are now using scriptures to again justify one's selfish interest.
All right, Prabhu.
We are just trying to cover up our selfish tendencies again by using the scriptures. Say that if it is said like this, why should not I demand? Because that is my self-interest. I am right now cannot become selfless. So this is what I should demand. But there is not. Look at any relationship. Take an example of a relationship. For example, how much time did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu give to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami? You take a real life case study, don't quote. This is Hiranyakashipu mentality. That's what he quoted scriptures and taught, na? Shastra mein kaha gaya hai. So never do that. That really irritates me when people quote scriptures without having understanding of scriptures, and they're just justifying their actions. How much you understand scriptures, that you can use scriptures to justify? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ne ye kaha, because Krishna ye kaha. Tumhe samajh kya pehle batao that you're using it to justify your own action. It's a self-defeating effort. No, it doesn't work like this. At the end of the day, you can fool anyone and everyone. You can't fool everyone at all times. There will be somebody who you cannot fool. And who you cannot fool, that person you should accept as a guru. In true sense, he or she is actually supposed to be a guru now. Why? Because that guru is not going to dance to your tunes. Guru is going to make you dance to his tune. That is what the meaning of guru. And if you make a guru dance to your tune, then who is guru? Then who is guru? Hare Krishna. So I have spoken for today.
I can only say that, Prabhu, please bless me, Prabhu. Because I think, I'm just going on with my selfish tendencies. And because they say that, you can fool everybody else, but you can't fool your own self, right? But I think that's what I'm fooling myself. So I just pray for the blessing of
I don't
my Guru
know who said like
Krishna.
this. I would say you can fool everyone, and in that everyone, the biggest fool is I only. The one person who you cannot fool is the Guru. One person you cannot fool is the Guru. And when you're fooling, I mean, if you think you're fooling others, so who's the biggest fool? You are the biggest fool. You think you are so smart. Paramatma is sitting, is laughing. क्या कर रहा है? इसको लग रहा है दुनिया को. I mean, Mayavadis think they're so smart. They're fooling the people around. And Paramatma sitting in the heart thinking, क्या गधा दिए? इसको पता नहीं इसके साथ क्या होने वाला है. You know. All right. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So our next class will be resuming from Thursday. Astrology check kar rahe hain, Next class will begin from Thursday. I have sent the message to Madan. She'll announce the schedule. Hare Krishna.